Election day in the Florida presidential primaries, and emotions are running high.
Trump does not stir up. The people that stir up are the far left.
Well, if Mr. Trump gets elected, I will be moving back to Australia.
Some talk politics on street corners.
Do I agree? With most of it, no.
While others quietly cast their ballots, keeping their votes to themselves.
Do you want to say who you voted for and why?
No.
Since Florida is a closed primary state, only registered Democrats and Republicans can vote for a presidential candidate. Voters who registered with no party affiliation were given ballots with just municipal races on them.
You think they were voting for me?
But regardless of who was on the ballot, getting out the vote was still a challenge. This trolley gave free rides to the polling place in the old Northwood neighborhood.
Just let you out right here. All right.
In Palm Beach County, absentee and early voting lightened the load on Election Day, and as closing time at the polls drew near, voters lined up for victory parties. Donald Trump's at his private Mar-a-Lago club in Palm Beach, Hillary Clinton's at the Convention Center in West Palm Beach.
Are you from Canada?
Yes.
A lot of people say if Trump wins, they're going to Canada.
Well, we have some spare room, so if anybody wants to, just get in touch.
With only a handful of protesters outside and no reports of major disruptions or violence, many voters say no matter who they voted for, they're just glad they did it here. This is Sheryl Kahn reporting for WPB TV. They came from all over the state and across the country.
Thank you, all of you, for being here with us. Welcome to our march.
Hundreds of protesters, led by a nonprofit human rights organization called Coalition of Immokalee Workers, on a 10-day tour of several cities ending right here in South Florida.
We came from the University of Notre Dame to support immigrant farm workers.
Their primary mission, to get fast food giant Wendy's to sign the so-called Fair Food Program, aimed at stopping abuse of farm workers like unpaid overtime and dangerous conditions in the fields. They're also asking for an extra penny a pound for produce to be paid directly to farm workers like these. We're here to get Wendy's to pay a penny more for the people who are working in the fields. McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell, and Subway have already signed on, but not Wendy's.
Wendy's would rather pay Mexican farmers to grow their tomatoes in worse labor conditions than to pay local farmers and workers a fair wage.
So after rallying in West Palm Beach, the group headed out, led by 87-year-old wheelchair-bound Ethel Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy's widow.
We can hear it for Mrs. Ethel Kennedy. Yay!
They walked past the convention center,
Boycott Wendy's!
through downtown West Palm Beach and across the Flagler Bridge,
Boycott Wendy's!
winding up on ultra-upscale Palm Beach Island, where Wendy's board chairman, billionaire Nelson Peltz has a home, and where protesters were met by some local supporters.
Wendy's, escucha!
A good deal of curiosity, incredulous stares, and occasional hostility.
This is really sad. Come on. Really sad.
And so it went down County Road to swanky Worth Avenue, past exclusive shops and galleries, to a closing rally in a park along the Intracoastal. Organizers say they'd originally been denied a permit and had to sue the town of Palm Beach for permission to march here. It's not yet clear if they'll get the results they were hoping for. This is Sheryl Kahn reporting for WPB TV. At first glance, Ty Kabasa seems like any other 2-year-old, willful, rambunctious.
Oh, wait, watch it, stop!
But if you look closer, there are some differences in Ty's behavior. Signs that led his parents to seek help for their only child, and eventually, just 2 months ago, to Ty's autism diagnosis.
He wasn't really responding to his name being called or making eye contact.
Yeah, just little things like that.
Yeah, he also used to say 4 words and then just completely stopped.
Yeah, he completely stopped.
At the Autism Speaks Walk and Rally, they were among thousands of people whose lives have been touched by autism. It's a brain disorder that manifests itself in a number of ways, from lack of eye contact to issues with thinking and speaking, and repetitive behaviors that are hard to control.
Did you have a good walk?
Yes.
Many autistic kids have trouble in social situations, acting out in ways that are often misunderstood by the public. And there are more autistic kids in our country than you may think. 1 in 68 children are diagnosed, with boys being nearly 5 times more likely than girls to have autism. 18-year-old Brett Preiser is a talented singer and guitar player. He's also autistic, though high-functioning. Brett says he doesn't worry about it, choosing instead to focus on his music.
I'm very, good at what I'm doing. I'm good at just being my own person. I just love, just having people watching me and stuff like that.
But his parents do worry.
All the time. We have brains on him. We keep track of him.
And while new therapies do help people on all points of the autism spectrum, parents of autistic kids say the main reason they're here at this event is to help fund research into the causes of the disorder so that the struggle they're all facing can finally come to an end. This is Sheryl Kahn reporting for WPB TV. Most people call police when there's a problem, but that's not the only time officers are in your area, and they want you to know they're here to help. In West Palm Beach, cops are being encouraged to interact with the public between calls.
Every time when you tell them, they just move out, and after that?
I know.
They're trying to build good relationships when there's nothing going wrong, so if they do have to come back when there is trouble, people will trust them enough to cooperate.
So you gotta get out of your car, you gotta see people, look at people in the eye, shake hands, how you doing, how's your day? Hansel, Freddy, Hansel y Arinen. ¿Son hermanos?
No.
Of course, some days there is very little time to spare for relationship building.
Señor, ¿cómo está?
Many of the calls they're sent on are the ones police dread. Domestic calls between relatives and friends where emotions run high.
So what? We could all grow up living in a Section 8 house.
And cops often find themselves in the middle.
I had sent her to the store and I asked her why did she spend my other $5 and she got all hysterical.
Your mom? Is it your mom or your sister or what? That's your mom?
Yeah, that's my mom.
And while the potential for making connections with people can be tricky,
Do you have any warrants, sir?
Oh.
Okay.
just as the media's cameras tend to show up wherever there's even a hint of trouble,
I'm just telling you, man, you can't be out here, dude.
police are also faced with the knowledge that everywhere they go, everyone they see, and even those they don't see, could have at the absolute least a cell phone camera recording their every move.
You cannot keep doing this. I'm not taking you to jail. I don't want to take you to jail.
The city recently bought body cameras for officers. They're not being used yet, but when they are, they will represent still another set of eyes and ears on police while they're on the job.
I have great supervisors that they have always said, whatever you do, do it as if you're with a family member and always as if somebody, the public, is watching you.
It's a challenge they say they're up to as they work to keep their relationship with the people they serve cordial and the city calm. This is Sheryl Kahn reporting for TV18. Take a quick walk downtown and you can't miss them. Dozens of murals, some freshly painted, others that have been there for a while. On the walls of office buildings, theaters, shops, and parking lots. They're colorful and whimsical, or dark and mysterious, all open to interpretation.
It feels really dramatic. 3 menacing giant figures. I can't get anything more out of it.
Some of the newer ones were created specifically for the Canvas Outdoor Museum Show, a 2-week event that featured the work of artists from around the world. London and Amsterdam-based Dean Coleman, who goes by his middle name, Zeus, is one of them.
I like to kind of come to a place and see the wall and have a feeling for the surroundings. You know, this picture changed about 3 times since I've been here. The
beautiful mermaid he created on this wall is a far cry from the street art that had him jumping fences and running from the cops as a kid back in England.
About 3 or 4 in the morning, you'd sneak out and paint for a few hours, and then, you'd have to be a hell of a lot quicker.
Unlike museum or gallery settings, where art lovers may linger for hours, murals like his mermaid are meant to be viewed by people passing by as they go about their business. Artists like Zeus have to have thick skin to keep from being hurt when the murals they worked so hard on are blocked from view or even painted over.
I think anything, you do outside on a wall is ephemeral. It's not there to last. If it lasts and people like it, great. If somebody comes here tomorrow and paints something else over it, fantastic.
And it probably will be switched out at some point. This black and white mural of 70s rock stars used to be right here, but it was replaced by this, which is pretty much its polar opposite. Not everyone will agree with the choices, but some say it's better that way, as long as murals like these cause people to slow down, even for a split second, and take a look. This is Sheryl Kahn reporting for WPB TV.